Okay, so we will call our regular meeting of council to order and recognize that we're holding our meeting on the traditional territories of Hoopachussett and Sechot First Nations. Are there any late items identified by councillors? None. And any late items from the city clerk? Thank you. Would somebody like to move approval of our agenda?
So moved, Madam Mayor. Second, Madam Mayor.
All in favor? Carried. And we have the minutes of the regular meeting of council held at 2 p.m. on January 28th. Would somebody like to move adoption? Moved. Any questions or comments on the minutes? All in favor? Carried. That brings us to public input, which is an opportunity for members of the public to speak to council, and we'll accept up to 4 people for a maximum of 3 minutes. And when you come forward, please state your name and address for the record, and you have to come to the microphone. Thank you.
I'm on behalf of here for my mother,
Okay.
property that we're disputing a problem. Nevertheless,
Could you, sorry, do you mind just stating your name and address?
name is Ken Kloos.
Okay.
Dealing for Ann Kloos.
Thank you.
What happened is that we have a place that is, well, there was problems with it. The city, I guess, had announced it. We've cleaned it up since then. Flynn's here. He knows about it. Nothing against them and what they've done, other than we've got a family member that has issues with drugs, and unfortunately, he was given the paper, I guess, or he was told by Nathan about the problem on the thing. We were not given any notice, according to Mom, because she has no paper, even though they had sent something, and Lenny, I guess, had got it. They went in there with, I'm trying to think of the name of the company, the one that does the cleanup or whatever it was, and they took a bunch of blackberry bushes and her grapevines out, and charged her $1,000, which I think is quite excessive. I usually do the pruning and cleaning of that nature. Unfortunately, not this January before last, I got a pinched nerve in my neck, so I started the job, but any pulling at all, it aggravates it, and I'm down for like a week, 2 weeks, I can't do anything. But not having this, and she says, but I didn't give them the permission to go on the land to take it off, and they did do that without her permission. And according to Patty Edwards, she says they can't do this. So we're in a bind, don't know what to do. And I thought, if possible, you could lessen the charge of $1,000 that was issued to her.
Okay. Thank you very much for bringing that forward. As a
Thank you very
council,
much.
we don't have direct control over those types of things. They're our
Sure
staff
enough. I
level.
guess it's not the bylaws problem. They did
For sure.
everything properly
Yeah.
and to the book. I'm quite pleased what they've done.
Thank you. And we do have some staff members here, so I'm sure somebody will be in touch with you on that.
Thank you
Thanks for
very
bringing
much.
it forward. Thanks. Would any other members of the public like to speak? Come on up. And just come to the microphone and state your name and address, please.
My address?
Yes, please.
Hi, I'm Alex Petrie. I live at 3165 10th Avenue, Port Alberni. I just moved here from Alberta. And hi, how are you? Yeah, I did. I actually literally just drew this up on a napkin, and I'd like to present an idea, if there isn't anything already existing, about an affordable housing initiative. And I'm wondering if the higher powers might be able to kind of look at this, if it would be a good idea or not. I noticed there's a lot of empty houses on lots. People kind of come out here just during the summertime and stuff like that, or whatever else in their properties are kind of just sitting vacant during the summer or the other months that are the premium summertime months. And I was just wondering if there would be any kind of subsidies that could be offered to people or government grants for secondary suites. I know stuff like I've already did a little bit of research. I guess there isn't anything available for like loft suites above garages, and I hear that there is a housing shortage, affordable housing shortage in the area, and yeah, I think that if there could be some kind of subsidies or government grants would be subject to something like a 5-year contract that would have to be promising that the suite or the main residency to be rented out below the average rental costs in the area. And that would have to be, as I say, a contract that would have to be signed for a minimum of 5 years in order to help out with people that are at risk and in low-income families and stuff. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you. And
Okay.
we are actually just in the middle of changing our regulations for secondary suites. And so I think
Okay.
that'll form part of the conversation. So thanks for bringing that forward.
Yeah, and I'm just thinking that
Yeah.
there's an aging population in the area, and a lot of these people aren't necessarily working anymore and can't secure employment anymore because of their age and physical conditions and whatever else. And they might have an idea about doing that to have income coming in to be able to pay their bills and whatnot.
Sure.
And then it would kind of kill two birds with one stone.
Definitely.
So
Okay.
that's
Thank you very
my
much.
idea. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Would anyone else from the public like to speak? Okay. So that brings us to item D, delegations. And our first delegation is introduction of our new fire chief. So we're going to let our CAO come and introduce.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. You can see approaching our new fire chief, Chief Mike Owens. Chief Owens started last week. It's his second week on the job and his second meeting of council, I believe. Maybe third. It'll be the third by tonight. Chief Owens comes to us with a lot of experience in the industrial sector of fire, most recently New Afton, I believe it was, mines adjacent to the city of Kamloops. Interestingly, Chief Owens is also born and raised in Campbell River and tells me that his lifelong ambition was to live in Port Alberni. So
sounds right.
he's here to answer any questions if you have.
Short of the lottery, you won.
That's right.
There you go. No, unfortunately I didn't.
Unfortunately not. So
Yeah.
thank you very much. We're on behalf of council, we want to welcome you to the community. We're
you.
looking forward to engaging with you more throughout budget. There's been a lot of questions that
Sure.
we've been fielding at our acting chief. So looking forward to having you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
And thanks for entrusting me with this position. It's certainly not lost on me, and I look forward to serving the community here. So
Thank you. Council, any questions, comments? Well, that's easy then.
great. All right.
Thanks very much.
And do I get introduced at every council meeting? I know
Yes,
we're two
every
for
meeting,
two right
for
now.
sure. Yes,
Okay,
you have
good.
to attend all of them.
Okay, thank you.
Usually right at the end.
That's right. Okay. And next up, we have the Alberni Valley Community Forest Corporation. Welcome, Mr. Sears.
Hi, I'm Jim Sears. I'm the chair for the board of directors for the community forest. I was here a month ago and proposed that we were going to put a resolution through to give a dividend to the city. And today I'm here with the dividend. So I'd like you to present the city of Port Alberni with $150,000.
Thank you. I will stand for the $150,000. We have a picture here. No one from the paper here? Thank you very much. Should probably pass this down the line.
The buck stops here.
That's right. I'm only figuratively accepting the $150,000. So thank you to the Alberni Valley Community Forest Corporation for all the work that was put in to produce that dividend. And next up from the farmers market, we have Vicki Lee. And we hope you have $150,000 here for us.
How do you follow that? Yeah, got a buck. And oh, is that somebody's phone? No, that's not, don't touch it. Okay.
So, and just so you are aware, our delegations, we give 10 minutes to, and then we have questions additional to that as well.
Okay, no
Thank you.
hard questions. Okay, perfect. My name is Vicki Lee, and I am representing the Spirit Square Farmers Market, both as the president and the market manager of the organization. I'm here to thank the City of Port Alberni and our community for the continued support for the farmers market. And it's important that you and the community hear about and understand the tremendous benefits to our community that come from your support. I'm also going to blow our own horn a little bit, so to speak, and it's not something I'm really good at it, but we'll try. I'll begin with a brief history lesson. There has been a farmers market in some form at the Harbor Quay since 1994. That's 25 years, I think, pretty sure. My math is not good. Is it right on? Bonus. That doesn't happen often. I myself have been there for 20 years. Our local farmers have certainly demonstrated their commitment to the area and to providing local food to our community. In 2011, Parks and Rec Director Scott Kenny approached several of our farmers and wanted to know if any of us would consider leasing 2 of the kiosks which had been standing empty for many months. Bob Haynes and myself decided that we would each take it upon our individual farms to lease 1 each in order to be able to advance and promote the market. The leasing of these 2 kiosks would provide space for essential infrastructure such as freezers and coolers that would enable much more product to be available on any given market day, and even more importantly, to enable the market to more easily comply with the regulations set by the health authority governing temporary food markets, which is how farmers markets are defined. Using 1/2 of kiosk number 17, which is actually 15, but I digress, they were able to set up and maintain an inspected kitchen, which is absolutely crucial to the continuation and growth of the market. I'll return to this inspected kitchen in a minute or two. After a couple of years, it was decided that the kiosk I was occupying would be better used as an arts shop, and I was moved into what was originally the storage area for the market. It's a tiny space, but I can still operate freezers and regulated refrigeration in there, something that again is crucial to complying with health regulations. We worked very closely with the health authority to maintain the regulations required under temporary food markets. In fact, there are several agencies that regulate what we can and cannot do at a farmer's market. Agencies like the Fisheries controls what and how frozen seafood can be offered for sale. The Egg Marketing Board regulates how many hens a farmer is permitted and how the eggs are handled and stored. The health authority also has strict rules concerning eggs. And then there's the things that the customers never think about, but it's really important to the farmer. And one of my favorites, I guess, is the case of a squash. The customer comes to the market and sees a lovely Hubbard squash there, and they'd love to serve it for dinner that night, but it's too large, and they don't want to eat squash for the rest of the week. So the farmer cannot cut that squash at the farm, wrap it, and bring it to the market. Can't do that. Nor can they cut it at their table into pieces, wrap it, and sell it to the customer. Can't do that. All under regulations. What they can do is take that squash into our inspected kitchen, cut it on a sterile surface, wrap it, sell the piece to the customer that they want. The second piece has to go directly into refrigeration. So we need that inspected kitchen area. And actually, it sounds odd, but this happens more often than you think. There's also certain foods that must be made in an inspected kitchen, and having such a space enables the market to do several things that were otherwise not doable. The Spirit Square Farmers Market is a member of the BC Association of Farmers Markets, which is an organization that's affiliated with some 300 markets across BC. In order to be a member of the BC Association of Farmers Market, there are standards that each individual market must adhere to. And if you go to their website, they will explain their mandate much better than I can here. However, membership does come with benefits. And probably the most important benefit for our community is the ability to apply for participation in the nutrition coupon program. The Nutrition Coupon Program is a government-funded program that is managed by the BC Association of Farmers Markets. This program targets low-income, at-risk individuals throughout the communities in BC. I was fortunate enough to apply and be accepted for our community for the first time in 2011. Each community is different, but in our community, we partner with the Health Authority and the Young Mothers Program. Participants must be enrolled in the programs that focus on healthy living and eating for pregnant mothers, and also for mothers with babies up to 18 months. They receive weekly coupon booklets that enable them to purchase fresh local vegetables, fruits, eggs, cheese, herbs, and meats at the Spirit Square Farmers Market. The response and benefits on so many levels has been inspiring to all of us. In 2011, a participant would come to the market, usually young, pregnant, shy, and they would silently hand a farmer their coupon booklet. And they were expecting a box of food back. That's what they were expecting. That's how they'd been treated and at the food banks and wherever all their lives. It took considerable time the first year to gain these women's trust and to help them realize that they now had the dignity of choice. They could decide if they wanted carrots or kale or radishes or a bucket of blueberries. That it was their choice to decide what they liked or whether they wanted to try something new. Slowly, they began asking questions about how to cook this or that, and would often take recipes that farmers had provided to help them with their choices. Now, 8 years later, the participants are willing to engage with the farmers about how best to cook or eat something, how to try something new, and they have become an integral part of the community that visits the market regularly. Again, the inspected kitchen and the ability to have regulated refrigeration and freezing capacity plays a huge role in being able to provide a wide range of products for the participants. We were able to put out food demonstrations to show people how to make something as simple as a beet and kale salad. Since 2011, the coupon program has brought in well over $100,000 into our community that otherwise would not have been available. Not bad for a few farmers. If you wanted to use some creative math, it's actually a double whammy because the original participants used that money and then the farmers spent it again within the community, so it was spread even farther. We must apply every year to participate in the program, and if we could not provide the amount and diversity of products to the participants, we would lose our spot. There are only 150 slots available, and the waiting list to participate is very long, so maintaining our market infrastructure is crucial. The inspected kitchen also allows us to provide coffee, tea, and hot chocolate for the public. This is done on a donation basis only, and the proceeds go to the funding of a bursary for a student. We have been able to provide bursaries of $1,000 per year through the generosity of our community. In the booklet we have provided to you, you'll find a perspective from Gaia Jocelyn, who is the lead on the community groups that we partner with and the benefits of the Nutrition Coupon Program. In conjunction to the coupon program, we also fund a program we call Music at the Market. This program allows us to provide a venue, the tent that Parks and Recs provides for us, within which we can accommodate local musicians and bands. As you're all aware, music is a huge part of mental health, and since some of our participants cannot access performances due to monetary issues or time constraints, or even some mental health issues, providing music in an open-air venue and for free eliminates many of these issues. The performances bring many people from our community to listen and support our local musicians. We provide a small honorarium for each performance, and the program ran for 16 weeks last year. We already have requests to return to perform for this year. Music benefits everyone for many reasons. As one lady told me, she came to listen to the music and it helped her deal with her husband's death, which made me a basket case for the rest of the day, but anyway. You will also find some letters of support for the continued support of the Spirit Square Farmers Market and the infrastructure required to sustain and grow the market. Now, usually I come here simply to ask and thank the city and the community for the ongoing support. This time I came with a request, which threw a screw in the works, according to Davina, because I did it wrong, but that's okay. So, the Spirit Square Farmers Market respectfully requests that the city dedicate the 2 kiosks that are already leased to members of the market and includes the inspected kitchen area and space for freezers and registration to the use of the farmer's market for a period of 5 years. To be very clear, we are not asking for this rent-free, but rather simply set aside for the use of the market in order that we can sustain and grow local agriculture in the years to come. We believe that we have demonstrated deep and lasting dedication to our community and merely request the ability to continue. So thank you all for listening to me, having the patience to do so. And I'd like to personally extend an invitation to each and every one of you here today to take the time one day and come down to the market and see what the market has to offer. In the growing season, you're going to be amazed at what the local farmers have for you. That's it. I'm done.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Council, questions?
Oh, sorry.
Councillor Washington?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Thank you. That was a very good report. Would your group be willing to participate in conjunction with the cruise ship visits too?
Definitely. I think we already are. I've been in talking with Irene Densmore because
Okay.
she's doing some of it. So yeah.
Yeah, it'd be
Yeah.
just to be it'd be a cool touch if they
Oh,
come there. and-
it'd be great. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And a lot of our vendors would want to stay for the whole duration.
Mhm.
Probably the farmers would scoot out at around noon or something because they're not going to be buying lettuces and things.
No, but it
people-
just so there's not an
Totally,
empty.
yeah, no, exactly. And I had also mentioned that to Irene, that I won't know till closer to the dates how many spaces we have within there that aren't used by regulars.
Yeah.
So, yeah, move them in or whatever. Yeah, there's definitely a conversation to be had about
Great.
that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Councillor Haggard, did you have a comment? Okay. Any other questions, comments? Okay. Thank you very much. And we will take the your request and we'll discuss it with
Perfect.
staff.
Good,
Thank you very
great,
much.
thank you. And if I find $100,000.
It's always helpful. Okay, we have no unfinished business today, so on to staff reports. Item 1, accounts. Councillor Washington.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I move that the certification of the Director of Finance dated February 11, 2019 be received, and checks numbering 143141 to 143237 inclusive, in payment of accounts totaling $1,785,893.39 be approved.
Thank you. Is there a seconder? Any questions? All in favor? Carried. And item 2 from our Manager of Bylaw Services, the liquor license application for Dog Mountain Brewing. Welcome.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, members of council. So the report before you is a request for council's consideration on a liquor license lounge endorsement application for Dog Mountain Brewing, which is located at 3141 3rd Avenue. So the report highlights the regulatory criteria that for council and a city to consider or provide comment on to the LCRB. And just noteworthy, notice was provided to the community. No response was received to speak out against it. And then further to that, I reached out to other agencies and departments for inputs, so fire, building, and RCMP. No concerns arose. I do want to just highlight that this application does have a noise consideration due to proposing a rooftop patio in an area that's zoned both commercial and residential. So I've provided some maps to as well. RCMP did comment and say, while there is a potential that a rooftop patio could generate noise, the hours being proposed are reasonable to mitigate the noise. The applicants have also proposed mitigating factors to try and alleviate that noise, and it is consistent with our bylaws, the quiet hours of 11 p.m.
Okay.
That's it.
Thank you. Any questions from council? Okay. Councillor Washington, would you like to read those motions?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I move that the report from the Manager of Bylaw Services dated February 4, 2019 be received.
Is there a seconder?
Second, Madam Mayor.
Any comments on the report? All in favor? Carried.
And that Council for the City of Port Alberni support the insurance of brewery lounge endorsement for the Dog Mountain Brewery operating at 3141 3rd Avenue, and endorse the comments as provided in the report from the Manager of the Bylaw Services dated February 4, 2019 for the submission to the Liquor and Cannabis Regulation Branch.
Thank you. Is there a seconder?
Second, Madam Mayor.
Any questions or comments? Seeing none, all in favor? None opposed, carried. Thank you. And item 3 from our Manager of Communications, approach for presenting the Reconciliation Committee's recommendations. And since our Manager of Communications is not here today, we have CAO.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The report from the Manager of Communications summarizes the city's Reconciliation Committee, how it came to be, the work that they have done, and the fact that the committee now has a draft report with 27 recommendations they would like to bring forward for consideration. And the committee suggests that, or asks that City Council approve their suggestion that City Council and the councils for Hupechesith and Sashot Nation meet together to review those draft recommendations and to finalize the report. So we're looking for council's direction to proceed in that way, or in another way if you like.
Okay, thank you. So I will start by making the motion that the report from the Manager of Communications dated February 5th, 2019 be received, and Council for the City of Port Alberni direct staff to coordinate a joint forum with the Hupechesith First Nation and Sashot First Nation, at which the Reconciliation Committee presents the 27 recommendations to the 3 respective councils. Is there a seconder? And are there any questions or comments on the work of the Reconciliation Committee? Councillor Paulson. Councillor Haggard.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I just wanted to say I'm looking forward to hearing those recommendations and working with the council and our 2 First Nations and implementing those recommendations. Thank you.
And I will say that it has been a great experience going through the work with the Reconciliation Committee. And I think that our entire committee is very excited to present the recommendations. Councillor Paulson?
I concur with Councillor Haggard. Just wonder if we get a copy of the 27 recommendations.
Not until the meeting. So our approach was that we wanted all 3 of the governments to receive the recommendations and the report at the same time, not for council to get them before the 2 First Nations. So that's why we came up with doing it that way. We really want there to be buy-in from all 3 of our councils for this report and the recommendations. So you can't have them. Okay, so the motion's been moved and seconded. Any further questions? All in favor? Carried. On to item number 4 from our Economic Development Manager. This is a brief report, just saying that we will be receiving another report. Are there any questions for the Economic Development Manager on this? Okay. You can summarize it if you want to.
The only reason that report is on here is because we promised council a report for this meeting. We are working on the budget numbers and intend to have them to you before February 19th.
Thank you very much. We're looking forward to it. Would somebody like to move receipt of this report?
Move to receive, Madam Mayor.
Is there a seconder?
Second, Madam Mayor.
All in favor? Carried. Thank you for that report. And on to item number 5 from the Manager of Planning, the development permit number 1807 for 3141 3rd Avenue. Welcome.
Hello, thank you, Madam Mayor and members of council. In front of you for consideration is the application of development permit number 1807. This development permit will facilitate the reuse of an existing building at 3141 3rd Avenue for Dog Mountain Brewing. Sorry, my throat's a little, I've been losing my voice, sorry. The owner of this property is proposing to renovate the existing single detached warehouse style building to be used for a new microbrewery, a tasting room, and a rooftop patio. The property is already designated as GCO, General Commercial, in the official community plan, and Zone C7, Core Business. Microbrewery is now a permitted use in the C7 Core Business Zone. The property is within a development permit area, which provides guidelines that cover the form and character of the project with the intent to ensure high quality development is achieved. The applicant has submitted plans for the development permit that meet the intent of these guidelines. These plans can be found attached within the report, and they're up there on the screen. Overall, the development would be a positive commercial development for the uptown area. And as such, the planning department supports issuing the development permit number 1807.
Thank you very much. It was nice to see some more detailed plans on this. Are there any questions of our planner? No questions. Councillor Solda's not here today. We're just moving right through. Thank you very much. Councillor Haggard, would you like to make this motion?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I move that Council for the City of Port Alberni approve the development permit number 18-07 and that the city clerk be authorized to sign the permit, including the following Schedule B development plans. A, drawing number A-00-CM-190115 site plan. B, drawing number A-03-CM-190115 main floor layout. C, drawing number A-04-CM-190115 top floor layout. D, drawing number A-05-CM-190115 elevations west. E, drawing number A-06-CM-190115 elevations east. F, drawing number A-07-CM-190115 elevations north and south. And G, drawing number A-08-CM-190115 section.
Thank you. Is there a seconder?
Second, Madam Mayor.
Okay. Any questions or comments on this development permit? Okay. All in favor? None opposed? Carried. Thank you very much. And on to bylaws. Item 1 from the city clerk, our February 4th, 2019 public hearing report. City clerk.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. It's the written report of the public hearing that was held on February 4th, which was probably one of our shortest meetings ever. I think it was 7 minutes. And in regards to bylaw number 4979, which is related to cannabis retail store regulations. So the written report is provided, and as there were no conditions attached, the bylaw is also brought forward for third reading and consideration of adoption.
Okay. Thank you very much. Would somebody like to move receipt of the public hearing report? Second? Second. Any questions or comments on the public hearing? All in favor? Carried. And then on to zoning text amendment number T17, cannabis retail stores regulations, bylaw number 4979. Councillor Paulson, would you like to make those motions?
I'd like to move that the zoning text amendment number T17, cannabis retail stores regulations, bylaw number 4979 be read a third time.
Is there a seconder? Any questions or comments? Well, I will just say that I think I just want to thank staff actually for bringing this forward and guiding us through these decisions and helping us take public input on something that was quite a large decision and shift for our community. So I think we made our way through the input that we received from this very well, and it was a good process to go through. All in favor? Carried. And this next one.
I'd like to move that zoning text amendment number T17, cannabis retail stores regulations, bylaw number 4979 be now finally adopted, signed by the mayor and clerk, sealed with the corporate seal, and numbered 4979.
Is there a seconder? All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Correspondence for action. Item 1 from Chris Alberni, an email dated January 29th, 2019, proposing action toward creating fully protected and safe bicycle networks for all ages and abilities of citizens. Councillor Corbeil, would you like to make that motion?
I move that the email dated January 29th, 2019 from Chris Alberni proposing actions towards creating fully protected and safe bicycle networks for all ages and abilities of citizens be received and referred to staff.
Is there a seconder? Second. Any questions or comments? Councillor Paulson?
I know that staff will come back to us with recommendations and great advice, but Mr. Alberni's letter really is an overview of things that we've talked about in the past. And at the end of the day, some of these projects are going to hinge on grants and those sorts of things. So I would suggest that we maybe prioritize, and for me, I'm still trying to come up with a mental solution for Stamp Avenue. which is not a great area for bikes. And when we went through that, and we did have a grant in line for that, but the grant only probably covered maybe 1/5 or 1/6 of the cost. And so I'm looking forward to the next stage, and let's see where we go with it.
Thank you. And I'll add to that that I think this is a topic we need to bring forward to our strategic planning as well. I think bike lanes and a real, all ages and abilities separated, safe bike network, if it is something that we determine is a priority, needs, a decent amount of attention delegated to it. So I think we should be bringing this forward to strategic planning to decide if this is going to be a priority for us over our term. So that if it is, we allocate proper resources to it. Okay, any further questions? Okay, all in favor? Carried. And item 2, from Evergreen Exhibitions, a letter dated January 31st, 2019, requesting permission to suspend a banner across 10th Avenue near Echo Center from March 4th to 11th, 2019, to promote the annual spring home show at Glenwood Sports Center on March 9th and 10th, 2019. Councillor Poon, would you like to make that motion?
Yes, I'll move that the letter dated January 31st, 2019, requesting permission to suspend a banner across 10th Avenue near Echo Center from March 4th to 11th, 2019, to promote the annual spring home show at Glenwood Sports Center on March 9th and 10th be received and the request approved.
Is there a seconder?
Second.
Okay, any questions or comments? All in favor? Carried. And item 3 from Sarah Thomas, an email dated February 3rd, 2019, advising that the May 31st, 2019 marks 100 years since the founding of the Canadian Institute of Planners and encouraging council to recognize this milestone. Councillor Washington, would you like to make that motion?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I move the Council of the City of Port Alberni recognize the centenary of the Canadian Institute of Planners and extend good wishes to its members on that occasion and support their continued contributions to municipal land use planning and in the future.
Thank you. Is there a seconder? I'll second that. All in favor? Carried.
You could read it.
On to proclamations. Item 1, for the Walk for Alzheimer's Day. We have a request that May 5th, 2019 be proclaimed as Walk for Alzheimer's Day. The registration being at Blair Park at 9:30 a.m. and the walk at 10:30 a.m. the same day, and inviting the mayor and council to participate. Councillor Haggard, would you like to make that motion?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I move that May 5th, 2019 be proclaimed as Walk for Alzheimer's Day in Port Alberni.
Is there a seconder?
Second, Madam Mayor.
And I hope we're all adding it to our calendars right now. All in favor? Carried. And item 2 from the BC Lymphedema Association, an email dated February 2nd, 2019, requesting that March 6, 2019 be proclaimed as World Lymphedema Day in Port Alberni. Councillor Paulson.
Give me the big word. I would like to move that the email dated February 2nd, 2019 from BC Lymphedema Association requesting that March 6th, 2019 be proclaimed as World Lymphedema Day in Port Alberni be received and the day proclaimed as requested.
Is there a seconder? Second, Madam. Any questions or comments? All in favor? Carried. Thank you. And item J is informational correspondence. City Clerk.
A few items, Madam Mayor. Minutes of the Air Quality Council from their January 17th meeting. RCMP Municipal Policing Agreement expenditures to December 31st, 2018. Letter from the Ministry of Finance, Gaming Policy and Enforcement advising of $109,986 payment to the city, representing casino revenue for the period October 1st to December 31st. Also attached is a report from the Director of Finance, which provides further information. Copy of a letter from College View Estates to the Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing, expressing concern regarding the rental housing review recommendation to eliminate Strata Corporation's ability to ban owners from renting their Strata units. Alberni Valley Adventures Association provides the final disbursement of their now defunct society's funds, just over $4,400 as a donation to the City of Port Alberni for the use of trail signage. And lastly, minutes from the January 9th Alberni Valley Museum and Heritage Commission meeting.
Thank you. Councillor Corbeil, would you like to move receipt of the correspondence?
I would move that the informational correspondence items numbered 1 through 6 be received and filed.
Thank you. Is there a seconder?
Second, Madam Mayor.
And are there any items people would like to speak to specifically? Councillor Paulson.
I'd just like to maybe talk about item number 5 and the donation to the city of Port Alberni for the use of trail signage. And I'm hoping that we could probably match that fund somewhere along the line and actually make our trails looking really cool. So thank you to Mr. Johnson for doing that. And his letters had many recommendations, so well worth reading and well worth taking into consideration. Thank you.
Yeah, it did, and it's a nice thing to be getting a bit of funding for this. I think that trail signage is something that, I mean, he talks in a letter about our trails being a world-class asset that's underutilized, and I think many of us feel that way. There's so much value in our trail system, and his signage is something that we really need to improve upon. So I think this is a great sort of Kickstarter for funds, and hopefully we can match that, maybe find some grants to match it as well. And I know our economic development manager this is something that he cares a lot about, and our parks manager has been talking about it also. So I think we're on the right track. And actually there was a good letter in the, was it a letter submitted to the editor? No, it was Sandy McCruer wrote a letter about trail signage as well. So I think there's a lot of people in the community really looking forward to improving our system. Seeing nothing else. Oh, Councillor Washington.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'm just wondering if the folks watching at home would like to know what we do with that gaming revenue. If we could get a quick report from maybe the CAO to see where it's not just getting thrown in, it's already been earmarked and
absolutely
we put it to good use.
CAO.
Madam Mayor, let's look at the report first.
It's $8,000 less than expected.
Yeah, so we have a report from Ms. Rothwell. It's $8,000 less than we anticipate. So she says the annual casino revenue funds from the funds the McLean Mill operating contract, the Chamber of Commerce Visitor Center operating contract, the community investment plan, and the remainder offsets economic development operating expenses.
Okay, thank you. So on the motion that if informational correspondence be received, all in favor? Carried. And we have no report from in camera. Item L is council reports. I think everybody had a report included except for Councillor Solda, who's away right now. Yes. And you know what? I will say, no man cold, and actually a very thorough report, Councillor Paulson. Well done. Well, no, it was very good. Would anybody like to highlight anything from their council reports? Councillor Paulson.
I just want to maybe just talk about cruise ships.
Yes, absolutely.
Just for a second.
That's
and,
great.
You know, I know that's a project near and dear to many of us, but the truth of the matter is it's going to be here before we know it. May 25th is the first cruise ship, so I know that the cruise ship committee will be looking for certain individuals to fill roles, but also in the subcommittees to have many people step up to the plate and help, especially on game day, which is those 3 cruise ship days. And I was pleased to hear the farmers market, certainly they're engaged already. And it's an exciting time. And, you know, some people have approached me and said, well, cruise ships, you know, like, you know, we're promoting tourism and it's such a small thing. But all of the things are a sum of the total, really, and cruise ships are only part of it. And if we're going to get that niche market, I think this is a great place to start. And I just want everybody to get excited. We've got 1,200 people coming to Port Alberni per cruise, and I think stats show about 80 to 90% of them off board. They don't all stay on board for lunch. So it's our opportunity, and we're great hosts. We're great for hosting. So I just wanted to put that plug in for cruise ships.
That's great. And if people in the public want to help, who should they connect with?
I would say Bill Collette. Bill Collette is the chair of the cruise ship committee, and or Pat Deacon here,
Great.
or myself, or anybody else that's on the committee.
Okay,
Yeah.
wonderful. Thank you. Anything else anybody would like to highlight from their reports? Councillor Haggard.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I just want to highlight the tour that Council and Mayor did of the Industrial Heritage Society located at the old arena. I had never been there before, and I'm embarrassed to say that, but I was extremely impressed with the work that the volunteers do there. And for anybody in the community that has been like me that has not gone there, take the time and go there and take a tour. You'll be very impressed of the work they do restoring old vintage machinery and vehicles. Thank you.
Thank you. And I just want to highlight a meeting that myself and the CAO and our planner had with BC Housing. Really good meeting. Speaking some generalities about the ACAUS program or the ACAUS housing project that is being pursued. But additional to that, we just had a really good conversation with them about what their expectations are for partnerships with communities. And that was important to me because I think we've heard a lot of conflicting information. We've heard, that BC Housing wants to pay taxes, that they don't need DCC reductions, that, they'll pay full price for land. And then we've also heard the opposite to all of those. So we had a bit of that clarified, and we made some good connections to just reach out and, be able to hear more what we can do to bring more housing into our community. And overall, they said that working with Port Alberni has been a great process. They gave a lot of credit to our planning department. So just really good overall meeting. Okay. Seeing no one else wanting to highlight anything from their reports, just for the information of the public, because it is reasonably new, we have started submitting written reports. So all of our reports of the items that we've been working on as individual councillors are available on the city's website in the agenda packages, if people want to look at them in the future.
Talk about the accord signing?
Oh, we did not talk about the accord signing. Okay. So we'll just highlight as well that a few days ago, the City of Port Alberni and Sashot councils did get together to sign our government-to-government accord. We had a great dinner meeting, which we haven't done in probably almost 2 years with our full councils. And from my perspective, it went very well. And I think a big takeaway for me was that when we met together a couple years ago, we sat, the city council on one side of the table and Sashot council on the other side of the table. And when we met at our meeting to sign our accord, we all really just intermixed, and you could tell that we've built good relationships since then, and there was a lot of value placed on that. So on behalf of council, I think we're very happy to have signed that accord and just to be building a great relationship with both of our First Nations partners. And I think we should attribute a lot of that to the work that our staff has done as well. We've put a big focus on improving the way that we do business with First Nations. So that's really coming into play at all levels.
Very historic.
Yes, yes. Yes, absolutely. Councillor Haggard.
Thank you. I just want to add a quick comment to that evening, besides everything that you've said. When the signing was occurring between our mayor and the chief councillor of the Sashot, one thing that really caught my eye was they're both female and they're both very young, both very intelligent and well-spoken. So I think that bodes very well for the future of our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Councillor Poon, would you like to move receipt of our reports?
Sure, I'll move that the council reports outlining recent meetings and events related to the city business be received.
Thank you. Is there a seconder?
Second, Madam Mayor.
All in favor? Carried. And there's no new business on the agenda. Councillors, is there anything to bring forward for new business? Seeing none, on to question period. Question, Mr. Anderson, come on up. We haven't seen you in a while.
Neil, I was getting worried about you.
I never intended bringing this up, but and I'm behind the 8 ball on this, so I don't understand it. I didn't have a chance to read information, but it's interesting to me. And number 4 on information, correspondence regarding rental housing review recommendation to eliminate Strata Corporation's ability to ban owners from renting their units. Can someone just briefly give me an explanation on that without taking up a lot of your time? Because I will have to look into this.
For sure. So I'll pass it off to our CAO, but this is just a copy of a letter that we've received or sort of been CC'd on. It's not our initiative.
That's correct. My understanding is it's a letter from a strata council to, on which city council was copied. And I don't even recall if there was a direct request for support or not, just for our awareness.
Yeah.
And it's to do, I gather it's in response to a provincial recommendation that strata councils not be able to limit rental of empty apartments.
Okay, and that's
But-
the interpretation I was getting, and very concerning that the laws may change to take that ability of owners in a strata to make the determination whether they want to rent their units out. That can have a devastating effect on strata units, so I'll look into that. I think it's, I lived at Barclay Estates, and if we had rentals in there, it would have been a horrendous job in policing it, and the issues that would have been brought forward. We even had them with owners, and so it's something that I'm going to read up, this rental housing review. So thank you.
Councillor Paulson.
Just a quick comment. In the last year and a half, the community of Qualicum
Yeah.
has actually gone through this. And I don't quite know what the outcome has been, but there's extreme concern there, especially in some of the strata units there that are basically all seniors.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what the outcome is, Mr. Anderson, but I share your concern about if you're an owner of a property and you don't want the rest of strata units in your property rented out, that's a problem, you know, for ownership. And I like your hat.
I thought I wore it just. Okay, thank you very much. It's clarified.
Thank you, Mr. Anderson. Would any other members of the public like to ask questions? Okay. That's all right. Okay, thank you. Then, Councillor Washington, would you like to make our next motion?
After that last one? you
Read it all out.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Closure of meeting to public, that the meeting be closed to the public on the basis of one or more matters may covered under the Section 90 of the Community Charter will be considered specifically outlined as follows. Section 90, 1E, the acquisition, disposition, expropriation of land or improvements, and where council considers disclosure could be reasonably to be expected to harm the interests of the municipality. Section 91K, negotiations and related discussions representing the proposed provisions of municipal service that are at the preliminary stages, and that, in the view of this council, could reasonably be expected to harm the interests of the municipality if they were held in public.
Thank you. Is there a seconder?
Second, Madam Mayor.
Okay, any questions or comments? All in favor? Carried.